You've seen it everywhere. At online checkouts, in your favorite apps. Buy now, pay later. It seems like a revolution in how we shop. It promises freedom, flexibility, and instant access to almost anything, all with just a few clicks. No interest, no complex forms. But behind that simple, convenient button is a system engineered to fundamentally change how we all think about money.
That's because this isn't just another payment method. It's a financial system built with, well, psychological precision. The entire experience is designed to encourage us to buy more and to borrow more, often without us even realizing that's what's happening. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore the hidden mechanics of buy now, pay later.
So let's start with how it presents itself. At first glance, the whole system is designed to feel completely harmless. It frames the act of borrowing as just a simple, safe part of shopping. And a huge part of this is the language they use. Think about it. You see phrases like pay in four or split your payments. It all sounds so much friendlier, so much less serious than traditional words like loan or debt or credit. And you know what? That's not an accident. That is entirely by design.
The core strategy here is to change our psychology around borrowing. The goal is simple. Make credit feel like something else entirely, something playful even, and completely risk-free. But the product itself, borrowing money, that hasn't changed at all. The only thing that's changed is our perception of it.
And this psychological reframing has built a massive, multi-billion-dollar global industry. Which leads to a pretty big question. If these services are advertised as being free for us, the consumers, then how in the world are the companies behind them making so much money?
Right. If there's no interest being charged to the shopper, where does the profit come from? The answer to that question reveals the real business model. It turns out the revenue comes from three main sources, and they're mostly hidden from our view. First, there are fees that merchants, the stores, have to pay. Second, there are late fees that consumers sometimes pay. And third, there's the monetization of all your shopping data. Let's just take that first one, merchant fees. Every single time a customer uses a BNPL service, the store pays a fee. And that fee is often much higher than a standard credit card fee. So why would they agree to this? It's simple, because it gets you to spend more. A $120 purchase might make you hesitate, but 4 small payments of $30? Well, that feels a lot easier to say yes to. And this brings us right to the core of the whole system, psychology. Because buy now, pay later doesn't just change how you pay, it changes how your brain processes the very act of spending. You see, this system exploits a concept known as the pain of paying. Spending a large amount of money, say $300, creates a natural mental friction, a resistance. But by breaking that into 4 payments of $75, that resistance almost disappears. The link between the immediate reward and the total cost gets weaker. Our brains also have another bias called future discounting. We are all naturally wired to place less value on future responsibilities. A payment that's weeks or months away just doesn't feel as significant as a payment that's due right now. And of course, the whole system perfectly leverages our desire for instant gratification. The reward, the product you want, is delivered to you immediately. The consequence, the payment, is pushed off into the future. And finally, there's something called the installment illusion. When a $600 gadget is advertised as just $50 a month, our brain focuses on the 50, not the 600. The item is perceived as way more affordable than it actually is, and it's a subtle shift in perception that drives purchasing decisions on a global scale. So what happens when all these psychological triggers are effective? For many people, the end result is a quiet, invisible accumulation of debt. The primary danger is that this kind of debt is incredibly easy to lose track of. Because each payment is small, it's easy to forget that you have all these different obligations adding up in the future. One purchase becomes 2, then 5, then 10. And pretty soon, a really significant portion of a person's monthly income can just be consumed by these overlapping installments. And studies from around the world show that this debt disproportionately affects specific groups of people. Young adults, students, and low-income households are particularly vulnerable. For these groups, the convenience creates an illusion of affordability that can disappear very quickly as those small payments begin to accumulate.
Now, all of this has led regulators around the world to start taking notice. In fact, many experts now refer to Buy Now, Pay Later as a shadow credit system, one that operates with fewer safeguards than you'd find with traditional loans or credit cards. And there's a growing global concern about this underregulated form of consumer borrowing.
So, understanding these mechanics is the first, most important step toward using these services responsibly. The goal here isn't to demonize them, but to use them with a full awareness of exactly how they operate. There are several really clear guidelines for using BNPL safely. First, treat it as credit, not just a simple convenience. Try to avoid stacking multiple plans at once. Don't use it for non-essential purchases, and always make sure you pay on time to avoid fees. But maybe the most crucial rule is this: if you cannot comfortably afford an item today, you likely can't afford it later either. Make no mistake, Buy Now, Pay Later is one of the most effective financial products ever created. It takes the ancient concept of borrowing and hides it behind modern design and tiny payments. It sells convenience, but it can profit from confusion. It offers flexibility, but it can lead to invisible debt. It encourages a mindset where spending becomes effortless and debt becomes normalized. But true financial freedom is not about splitting payments. It's about controlling them.